Yo, so I just want to point out this is therapy for us all. Like week in, week out. We look forward to it. Listen,
Fellas,
it's
it's
just
gonna be one of them nights.
it's gonna be. I'm telling you. So what's up? What's up? Prototype Dad in the building. What's good?
What's happening? Another Tuesday.
Another Tuesday. What's going on, fellas?
Chilling.
We got some guys that's not cammed up. Like to thank my man Max for jumping on. Max has a lot of insight about music, man. Every time we get together, he always asking me music questions on who I'm listening to, what's going on, and he's plugged in with the youth, in the Pittsburgh area and kind of all around. So I felt like his insight would be good for the night. Leaford be on late tonight. You know what I'm saying? He had to run some errands, but yeah, man, tonight should be good, man. How y'all feel? Y'all good?
Yeah, man, life's good.
Yeah, everything is good, brother. Everything is good.
So let's start it off with the first question. Um, what was your first top five that you ever created? Mo, you got it. You got it first.
I had to think about it. So my first top five. Um, so my first top five, and
All right, come on.
I'm gonna go back to when the first CD I ever bought. Was a Trap Called Quest, Tupac, um, probably Biggie, and Bone Thugs. Yeah,
Wait, what? Wait, what? You said
yeah.
Tribe? I mean, well, that's a group. You don't put that in your top five.
Bone Thug. That was
But that was
all
one
I
person to
listened
you.
to. Yup, that was all I listened to. I knew it verbatim. I could do it. Even the stuff that like people like didn't know. Like, and this is before you could like look up the lyrics. Like I knew the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
But
when you say it first, like it took me back, did it? Like I would never name them now, but I was like, definitely Bone.
yo, when Bone came through, man, it hit the wave
Mhm.
like nothing we've ever seen before. Like that just had every kid on lock. I remember like that's just all we wanted to listen to. You know, we couldn't really wasn't allowed to listen to it. You know what I'm saying back then. But yeah, that Bone, if you had that Bone, everybody was on that. It's funny because the first CD I bought or the first tape I ever bought was the Brat Funktified. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a throwback for you. It was dope though. I ain't gonna lie. What's up, Max? What was your first top five, bro? Yo,
Hold
you
on.
good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I'm here. Uh, that I that I paid for or that I got.
No, what's your first top five list you ever created? Your very first.
Um, you you talking? My man just named musically. You talking musically?
Yeah, yup.
Uh, Tupac, Nas. Mm, See, cause Biggie and Jay Z wasn't really hitting that moment. So I would say, can you? You gotta come back to me, but I know Tupac and Nas. I know I got Illmatic the tape, the front and the back, and then that's when I kind of like started to really listen to the music. because it was right before the East Coast and West Coast stuff started. Um, and that was kind of my introduction into it. And I think maybe Ice Cube, because a lot of it was influenced by what my brother was listening to, and at that time they was listening to a lot of West Coast music, so it might have been something crazy like MC8, Ice Cube, like it was like in them early '90s. It was a lot of gang activity.
Yeah, it was gang activity. That's exactly what I was going to go to. That MC8,
Brother Lynch.
Brother
I
Lynch.
used to know that. I used to know that a
Yeah,
lot.
it was
Yeah.
it was Crips and Bloods. Remember they had their own album.
Right. So a lot of what I was influenced by was what my brother was listening to. It wasn't until I got to high school where it might have been. So it would probably be something like Tupac, Nas, Cube, Wu-Tang, and then like I said, it might be somebody else in a Scarface or something like that. It was whatever my brother was listening to at that time. But then once I started to listen to Nas, and then Biggie kind of took over, so it transitioned to Biggie, and then eventually Jay-Z, and then I've been a Jay-Z fan for 30
You
years.
said 30 years.
Ever since, like I haven't. Once I really got a good listen to him, I haven't swayed. I haven't gone another direction.
Man, what's up, Hit? You ready to go, or you in the middle of a training session?
But I'm working through it, man. I'm showing real dedication, man, perseverance, man. You know what I mean? The true definition of a prototype. You know what I mean?
Period.
So yo, when you say
Your first
like
top five.
but when you say top five, like what is that? What does that encompass? That could be very vague. That's a lot, man. Like what you mean? Like first people you're listening to, first people you
No,
like. You know what
your
I'm
first
saying?
top five, your first favorites, your first top five.
Like what's the time frame on that?
Your
Like
first
going
one.
in.
Whenever you made your first one.
That's I don't know. That's crazy. That's a vague question, man. So I guess
I
I'm
mean,
just going to list like my first few albums that I had growing up. Like that could be considered, but like top five is a lot, man. That's a lot to encompass, man. I'm with my man Max on that one. So like my first album I ever had, Scarface the Diary. That was my first album ever, like ever CD ever bought. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got my 3 disc changer for Christmas, and it came with Boys the Men 2 and Scarface the Diary. That's because my mom didn't know who he really was, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that was my first. And then like the tapes that I had would be Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like that was a staple. Um Spice One, America's Most Wanted. You know what I mean? That was like big. Like you said, Brother Lynch was huge. I'm trying to think of the first couple of tapes I had. It was like Snoop, you know what I mean? Growing up, like, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, like the West Coast was huge. Like it all came from the West Coast. It was just like everything was influenced. Like honestly, I didn't really get into East Coast rap until like 9, 7, 9, 8. You know what I mean? I was like everything West Coast. So it was that. I had the Dog Food album. I had the tape. I had the Dog Food tape. Trying to think of 5 joints that I was banging back then. Uh, I would round it out. It probably was like the Chronic or something like that. Like that was the pinnacle for me at like adolescent age. So we're gonna go and like if we're gonna break it down the top, I'm going to adolescence, like elementary school. Like my first 5 would be those. Those was like the first. I'm trying to remember if that was like what was popping, but oh, Big Mike. Big Mike was hard too, but like it was like but it had to be like
That a
Scarface
DC
was number
Go-Go
one.
thing? Big Mike, that he DC and Go-Go?
Nah, Big Mike was he was on Rap a Lot. Nah, I ain't get to DC, man, until like like 2000. You know what I mean? So I ain't get this till like 2000, man.
I thought you was down there like middle school. So I was down
Nah,
there before you.
yeah, contrary to what you believe, son, I'm from Pittsburgh, man. Alright,
I
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
thought I thought you was down there before me because they would set me up like, yeah, you know, Sharon over there. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not well yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that was middle school. But
I get down into 2000. But that's my first five, my adolescent
shoot,
5.
my first top five, man. This wasn't a hard question for me. So my first top fives was Pac. Um, he had such a connection with everybody, man, and how he was coming through in ways. Like once I heard Tupacalypse Now, like it was just like this dude's a monster. And then and he came out with that Pain that had you like locked in. You know what I'm saying? From that Above the Rim album. So it was Pac, Jay from Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt had me locked in. If anybody ever rode with me from 90 anything to even now, you've probably heard that album back and forth. Nas and for the true best friends, man, Busta Rhymes and Cameron. Between those were my guys. That's my first top five. And it was just all about that energy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z was spitting something that was just so mindful on how he was delivering things that I was just into, like, you know, the Nas, for me, It Was Written was like probably his best album. You know what I'm saying? Everybody will say like Illmatic or something like that. It Was Written was hands down the best album for me. It shows so many different flavors and characters, and it never sounds old. You know what I'm saying? Like Illmatic just had that old sound to it. You know what I'm saying? And
Definitely agree
Buster
with that.
Busta Rhymes, you agree with that?
For sure. For sure. For sure. It Was Written, I think, was his best work. And then, well, that's definitely when I got turned on to it. And then he mentioned The Chronic, and it wasn't even The Chronic music. I just remember when a dude bought that CD to school with the artistry, the artwork with like with the women on there and just the titles on there. I just remember in 7th or 8th grade, just everybody talking about, uh, the words that they was saying, how they was referencing women at that time. It was just, that Chronic was different for sure. And I wasn't really a fan of it at the moment, like I would be later on in life. But I just remember my man bringing a CD. We had the disc, and we was just looking at the cover, and it was just different, man. It was different.
Yo, so check it out. So you kind of went. So you started like at 9'7", 9'8". That's when you got in the rap. Was that late? What was you saying?
Yeah, for me, well, I don't know if you was talking to me or Kev,
I'm
but
talking about
for me,
Vic.
okay.
No, I got in the rap. I would say 9-6 was the most powerful year for me. Like I've heard all the, you know what I mean? I didn't, like I said, my first album I ever bought was that Functified, the Brat. You know what I'm saying? From the Homewood, Homewood used to have that
The store on what's that?
no, you
On
know they used to have
Franktown?
that little celebration every year. And I don't know if they still got it, but they used to right where the community college was, that whole street would be like a fair. You know, and there was a dude over there selling tapes. And I just slid off and had my little $12, and I bought that Functified, and I didn't know what I was buying. The other album, the other tape I ever bought, my second tape I ever bought was the 8-Ball MJG Space Age Pimpin'. That's the other tape I bought. That was my first ones. But so me truly getting into music though was probably 96. That 96 year is what turned everything around for me.
Yo,
See, that go to show our list is so different. Mine is 1990. I bought that Trap Called Quest in 1990. But
Yeah.
I mean, I had a young mom, and you know what I mean. So I just, I guess I had a different level of whatever. But I remember I bought it, and I remember I tricked my mom into letting me get the Tupac, because I don't know whatever one was the Righteous song. I was like, yeah, he talking about
Dear
his
Mama
mama
was on it.
Yeah, he talking about his mama.
yeah.
I totally tricked her. But yeah, like my list goes back to 1990. Before that, I didn't have a list. Like before that, it would have been like whatever's on the radio, like Criss Cross or MC Hammer or something like that. So 1990 is when I started to actually, okay, this is outside of what's necessarily on the radio. I get to hear stuff outside of the singles, and I can kind of rank it to what I like about that outside the radio stuff. So yeah, that's kind of probably why our lists are so different, because for me, man, this starts in 1990.
Yeah, I'm with Mo Better. Like I started super early, but like I just had to refute that Tupac. like that Tupacalypse was kind of trash, dog. Like the first Tupac, I mean, I know a lot of people like he wasn't really revered. The first Tupac I ever heard was Thug Life. Like if you ever heard that Thug Life album, that was a whole different approach. That was a different Tupac than that, like to Tupacalypse and Strictly for My Niggas. But that Thug Life was when he kind of started coming to his own and kind of got that, you know what I mean, that Tupac that we know now.
I mean, I haven't listened to anything Tupac after Machiavelli, so I don't know.
The
'Cause I
Thug
don't.
Life is early. That's like
No, it's early. So
93.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
early
it's
stuff.
93.
So
That's straight balling and you know what I'm saying, Cradle to the Grave and
Oh,
you know
okay,
what I
gotcha.
mean,
Yeah,
pour out
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
more
Okay,
liquor.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
the
I can
early
see that
Tupac.
because like Pittsburgh's a gritty city. So like once he got on the gritty stuff, that's probably when people like liked him. But you know what I mean? I snuck into liking him because you know the whole Dear Mama stuff and the whole you know righteous type stuff, and I was able to kind of you know trick my mom into letting me get it. And then from there, I heard some stuff I probably wasn't supposed to hear, and I was like, oh, I like this too. So that's just kind of how I got on the Tupac.
So do
Yo,
anybody go?
oh, I was saying Mo Better. So I got the same story with that Scarface album. My mom heard The Hand of a Dead Body. So she thought he was like a Christian rapper. You know what I'm saying? She was like, cause if you listen to the song, he's real like he's like a real conscious song. You know what I'm saying? And so she
I
bought
can
it
see
for
that.
me.
It's like a pastor. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She thought he was like a
Wow.
Christian rapper or something. So one day she walked past me and I listened to Here Come the White Sheep. And they go like rat tat tat to your ass. You know what I'm saying? I was in there bumping it. Yo, she said, yo, what is that shit? Give me that goddamn. She took the CD and took it in the room and hit it, man. Like she took my damn CD. So I had to go in the room, sneak it, listen to it, put it back how I found it, you know what I'm saying, when she got home. Cause like, you know, back then they wasn't with it. You know what I mean? We couldn't listen to that type of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I had to kind of sneak and put away. But by that time, I was old enough where you know she was like, "You got it." You know what I'm saying? She was just telling me to. Oh yeah, man. I mean, I didn't put like Outcast on my top five because it's a group. Like y'all was putting like groups on y'all top five, so I was just kind of like, huh? You know what I'm saying? But you would have to have a group list for that. You know what I'm saying? But let's go with the next question though. So do y'all know y'all kids top five?
So I
Yeah.
do. It's all cap what she gave me. Like the same way how I was like, well, you know, I kind of snuck into Tupac and stuff like that. This list she gave me is all cap. Like there's no way. Like, cause I've never heard her even listen to none of this stuff. But like, you know, when I heard about this, I asked about it, and she gave me a list. So let me see. So take this list with a grain of salt because I literally believe it's all cap. So she put Beyonce, Rihanna, LMA, Usher, and Chris Brown. Ain't no way.
See, Breezy.
Yeah, ain't no way. All cap. So like for example, because like man, I took her to a K-pop concert, and like we was the blackest thing in there, right? Yo, she was rocking out, and I was like, wow, okay, this is different. But so I mean, like, so she has a very eclectic ear. So I think a lot of it is just her trying to appease me and being like, yeah, I connect with stuff you connect to. So when I saw the list, I was like, yeah, this is all cap. So take that list with a grain of salt because I don't believe that's truly what would be going on if I was to take her Spotify account and do the analytics on it. Highly doubt it.
What's up, Leaford? Welcome to the party, baby.
Yo, what up, man? Sorry for my tardiness.
So we kind of just went over what was your first top five you ever created.
I ain't never really created top five, man. When I think about it, I probably listened to less individuals and I listened to more groups. You know, back in the day, I was listening to a lot of groups. But if I had to do a top five off the top of my head, I'd probably say Tupac. I'd probably say was never really a Biggie fan. So
Leafer, I believe, man, you look, if you listen to group, man, you should be able to include them because their impact is the impact. I included Bone.
I mean,
because that's
definitely
what
included
Bone.
Bone.
I mean, Bone.
Yeah,
Bone Thugs is like one of my top, definitely top two, top three groups. I mean, Bone Thugs, for sure. I mean, a lot of groups, those Midwest groups. What was it? Dang, what was that group that smoked? Yeah, Crucial Conflict, smoking the haze over the
Do or Die.
Yeah. A lot of those Western ones. Those were the ones
Dayton
that was up. But even to go back further, and we talking about Tribe Called Quest, and you talking about Leaders of the New School, or what was it? EPMD, and or even on the West Coast, what was them? NWA, like a lot of groups, man. I was into a lot of the different group stuff, even when it was individuals clicking together to do songs together, like the I can't remember what it was, man. It was like a bunch of West Coast rappers that came together for this one on this one song, and but same gang. That's what I like. That's what I like. Yeah. That's what I like, stuff like that. So I don't really have no, individuals, you know what I mean? I mean, if we really want to do like, you know what I mean? Like I said, Tupac, probably DMX, that's my guy all the way.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you was going to pull it.
Probably DMX, you know what I mean? A lot of the ball head guys, you know what I mean? Ja Rule,
Onyx.
Yeah,
thing.
But not even Onyx, like just Sticky Fingers, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? So just like you know what I mean? I don't know. I like the groups for sure, but I got a few little individuals that I listen to in between there. Busta Rhymes, you know what I mean? Gotta throw him in there.
No, facts. I was just explaining how, like, if you ever rode in the car with me, those like Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, Outkast, you've probably heard all those albums like nonstop. But so the next question is what's your kids' top 5? And Mo just went. I think Max was about to hit it next though.
Yeah, my kids' top 5 is Rod Wave. She likes this cat. If we're just talking rappers, it's just rappers. Polo Cap-A-Lot.
Nah, it's whatever. It's whatever they can, you know what I mean? Nah, it's whatever.
So when I asked her top order, she kind of gave me rappers. So it was Rod Wave, Polo Cap-A-Lot, NBA Youngboy, Little Uzi Vert, and Mulatto out of Atlanta, the young lady from Atlanta. I didn't ask her for singers. I think the list would be more mixed up, but I was naming rappers, so she named rappers.
What's up, Hit? You got your kids' top 5?
Yo, so surprisingly, man, my son, he like what I like, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's just trying to impress his old dad or you know what I mean. That's what he into, but only new age that he say is like NBA Youngboy, which is gonna be all of them, all the little young teenagers. And he said Future, which I listen to Future too. But he had mentioned the Game, Westside Gunna, and who else did he say? Westside Gunna, Game, and I'll come back to that. But my daughter, man, my daughter's lame, man, and I'm happy for it because just like in one of our old podcasts we talked about, that might keep her off the pole, man. You know what I'm saying? So she like Bruno Mars, the other art like Ariana Grande, you know what I'm saying? Like she's just like all that little pop stuff, man.
I heard Bruno Mars is nuts though. Like I like if it's content.
Yeah,
I heard his content is kind of nuts.
Yeah. And the reason I know that is because my daughter, like whenever I hear it or she puts a request in the car, that's what she's listening to, like the Bruno Mars, the Ariana Grande. Like he be saying some stuff, and I was like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he be sneaking some parental advisory in there. I'd be like, oh, okay.
What's up, Lee? Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, my daughter, she said she messed with Kendrick, J. Cole, SZA, Summer Walker, and she said, I don't know what this is. Yeet. Is it somebody named Yeet or something like that? I don't know. That's what she said. She said that's how it's pronounced. Yeet. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, she had me going with Kendrick and Jay. I was like, okay, yeah. Then it went downhill from there, but it's all good.
So you hear how nonchalant y'all guys were about saying your kids' top 5? Now just apply this, right? We thought about our top 5s and think about that impact it had on us, the influence it had on us, how we moved, how we talk. Lee, you used to bark on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Because like you had that Onyx DMX energy on it. Like it was a part of your makeup, right? So think of all the influence that our top 5 had on us, and how do you feel about the influence that your kids top 5 have on them? Go ahead, Lee. You got it.
That's crazy because there's another one that's in there that's got that crazy energy, but I can't remember what they called it. It was like a group that just had that song Annie Up, and they had that killer energy. Those are my folks too.
MOP.
But yeah, MOP. Yeah. Those are my folks too. But yeah, man, it's crazy because even when I say the top 5 that she gave me, and I look at her, like I don't connect the dots. Like I don't know if they had the same emotional attachment that we did to the music, or the same cultural attachment that we did to the music. I just think they listening to stuff and it just has a good beat. I don't know that they are really attached to it in the same way that we were, because it was almost like my music was almost like a direct reflection of me and my lifestyle and who I was and how, you know what I mean, how I perceive myself. And when I look at this list, some of these people I don't know, so it's hard for me.
See Breezy on our list, boy.
Breezy not on the list though.
No, you just said it. Somebody said C Breezy was on it. Oh wow,
no,
C Breezy on your list. Oh wow.
Yeah, no. The Breezy not on this list. She got Kendrick and J. Cole. That's why I was surprised. I was like, oh, those are my cats. So you know what I mean. But then she went down the line.
I would chime back in because that J. Cole, he don't like J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? He always talking about he sparked something. Like we was listening to it one day. He's like, man, J. Cole always talking about somebody giving him head. Like in every song, he's talking about who's giving him head. So I mean, I would just be conscious of that. He's popping back in right now.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yo,
what's up, Hit? You good?
Yeah, I'm up. What you got?
So we're talking about your kids' top 5 and how do your influence? The influence that your top 5 have over you? How do you feel about your kids? The influence that your kids' top 5 has over them?
Man, if it's anything like mine, yeah, it'd be dangerous, man. Cause like I ain't gonna lie to you, like rap shop, like show me how to deal with women, conflict resolution. It had way too much. I gave it way too much. Like, and because like we didn't really have strong like parental male figures. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z was like in Cam, like I wanted to be like them. I wanted to style like them, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk like them. Like how Snoop and them was approaching women. Like I wanted to be like that. Like it ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That was they really sparked the gangbang, man. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted the gangbang after listening to that. So like hopefully it does not have that same effect because they have a parental figure that's available, you know what I'm saying? That's engaged. Because like right now it went being like being like hustler, like drug selling music to drug using music. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? The dynamics of the rap has definitely changed. Where it's really like it's almost like today damnation. So like yeah, like my son, like I say, listen to a lot of stuff that I listen to, and like man, and I'm glad because it gives him a little more than what he typically get from some of these rappers, man. Especially like with the drug use, like it's not even cool.
Go ahead, Lee. Your wheels are turning.
No, because I'm just trying to think of these songs with J. Cole is talking about getting his dick sucked. Like I'm thinking, like, because I listen to J. Cole heavy, like, and like there's a couple songs that I can think of off the top of my head, but it was within a story that he was playing and he was depicted in the song, but I can't remember him saying it nonchalantly. But now it's got me thinking, like, well, hold up, if he's saying it like this, what is she listening to? But now I can't think of it. That's where my wheels is turning. I'm like going through the whole Rolodex, like, hold up, what's happening here? I'm about to go
like
shut
I said,
the radio
Hit
off
brought
now.
that to my attention. I never caught it then. And then one day me and Hit riding, and he's like, man, I don't really, he's sleepy, he boring, and he always talking about getting some neck. Like it's all about who's sucking his wood. And I was just like, really? No, I denied it. And then I started listening. I said, wait a minute. Like, so what's up, Max? What you got?
Facts.
My fault, bro. What was the question? I missed the question. I heard y'all talking about J. Cole getting the neck, though. What was the question I missed?
The question is, knowing that your top 5 has such an influence over you, how do you feel about your daughter's top 5 having an influence over her?
I think she got a pretty good grasp of what's fake and what's real. I kind of try to keep it real honest with her, as far as it's real, but this isn't your life at all. So I think for me it was a little bit different because we were still on an economic level living in a certain situation and environment where we were seeing stuff. But like my daughter never seen the projects, like as far as living it. Like she might have visited a cousin, might have went to a cookout, but she can never
Yo, you cut out. Okay. What's up, Mo? How you feel about everything?
Yeah, so I think I can kind of piggyback the point that Max was about to make. Man, I kind of got that at a very young age with my daughter. Like, this is just entertainment. Like, don't get too deep into this. And as far as the influence that it had on us versus the influence that it got on the kids, I think that there's a couple things that are like distinctly different. One, they're not coming up in the same environments we came in. Two, she has much more parental involvement. And then 3, like, I listen to hip hop, I listen to rap. So like, it's not a rebellious act. Like, I remember like that was part of the allure of it for me, was having to sneak and listen to it. Like, she doesn't have that. Like, she'll literally tell me like, I think can I get the aux cord now? Because like what you're listening to is like really aggressive. So yeah, like it's just different because they're coming up in a different time, and kind of the parental dynamic is so different. Like, she don't have to sneak it. It's not like I'm like, oh well, I want you to listen to the clean version. Like, no, like, go ahead, listen to it. But you still have to make the choice to be respectful, and you're not out here saying that type of stuff to folks and stuff like that. It's just entertainment. So at the end of it, man, I just really think that it's just a different dynamic. So, and it's like, what, hip hop's 50 years old at this point. So I mean, it's not new, it's not rebellious, it's not necessarily a movement that everybody feel like, oh, I was on that whole journey with it. Like, you know what I mean? Her parents grew up with it. So it's like, do we really listen to all the music that our parents listen to? Probably not. So, she's kind of veering away.
So I'm glad you said that. Because when I asked my son what his top 5 was, you know what he gave me? Content creators. The boy gave me Corey Kenshin, Baron Vaughn Games, Flamingo, Infimg, something like that. Like, he didn't give me no music. He gave me all content creators. Oh, the only music artist he gave me was Imagine Dragons. But that was his top
I didn't even know
5.
who that was until I looked it up.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know what that was.
And that speaks to how much things have changed. Like, you was like, hip hop is 50 years old. It's not new. It's not rebellious. It's not, man, they like these but it's nothing to sleep on though. Cause the content creators, like, if you ever watched it, would you be like, hell no, you ain't watching this. You know what I'm saying? Cause they be doing some wild stuff, and it's the weird dudes now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're paying attention to the guys that you be like, dude, they used to pick boogers. You know what I'm saying? That's who they're like tuned into.
Eat them. No, yeah, he eat them.
Yeah, he used to eat his book. Like, so you like,
yo.
it's dudes that you would be like, ooh, this dude, this is what you're listening to. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be real. Like, I'm not comfortable with the guys because it's just like, think about even the music we listen to, right? We're picking up the vibes of, oh yeah, this dude was hard. The way he would move, the way he would talk, like, so it was about being cool. You know what I'm saying? So even walking a certain way, having a certain, so that's kind of how we're all built to have this kind of certain pride. You know what I'm saying? And he has none of this. Like I said, he's watching all content creators, so that's what's feeding his brain day in and day out. And it's just like, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? And how he talks, how he walks. When I'm saying stuff, he's like, why are you talking about that? I don't care about none of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the new video game out? Like, so it's kind of weird how things has progressed into that, you know, because there was no such thing as a content creator growing up. It's really just something recent within the past 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So
But I mean, I want to put, before you go to the next subject, I want to push back a little bit on the simple fact of, like, yeah, like, at least for me, like, there was a lot of stuff that I internalized and I took it, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't. Like, I remember, like, I got so into the whole Bone Thugs, like, they start talking about Ouija boards and demonic and 3-6 Mafia and stuff like that. Like, I never got that deep into it. So, I mean, I just think that, like, there's a certain line that I'm like, yeah, that's just entertainment. I'm not going down that path. So, I think, there's a certain level of discernment that these kids have, and, we had it as well. It's just that the line's a little different, with these content creators, and whatever they define as cool is where they're going, what they're going to follow.
We came up in that flashy era, the bling bling era. I know a lot of people it made them enamored of street life. Like, them dudes was very detailed about, you know what I'm saying, street activities, and like almost gave you the blueprint to how to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? So, like I think we was more influenced because it was more relative to our environment, like you said, and what we were going through. But I mean, like, Jigga made everybody want to hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? He was flashy, he was cool. He had the iceberg, you know what I'm saying? He was, you know what I'm saying? He was flashy. Like, it just really, like, to me, man, like, the old rap was different, man. I think that was like the pinnacle of, like, you know what I mean? What would have, like, the most influence over, like, young black men, for sure. I think that's why it's attacked the way it's attacked, because they seen it.
no, I mean, facts. Like, can I live been my motto since '96. So it's just like those kind of things change you. But anybody else got something they want to push back on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like you said, I'm thinking because I'm thinking of just the different eras back when
I
we
say,
were
better
growing
that
up.
be J. Cole.
Yeah,
Jake, like,
yeah. No,
like, man, he about to end the episode. Like,
no, I'm thinking about this in different eras because I remember when I was coming up, like the first rap stuff that I heard was like, Kool Moe Dee, and you know what I mean, those type of people, listening to hip hop with my dad, back in the day, when he had the big old, so I'm like going into that and then transitioning over from that, Slick Rick the Ruler and all of those, and now you're going into the gangster rap era where you got the Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, you got your Bone Thugs, all of these people, and you see the whole shift in the culture. And I don't know that I enjoyed the music that I was listening to with my dad, but I didn't grapple to it like I did, come not the 90s when, you know what I mean, the hardcore street hip hop came out. And then not only that, but then now you got the Crips and the Bloods and the gangs is all prevalent around the world at the same time. And you see those attachments. And now you're looking at your purview and you're looking at the music and they seem like they're almost aligned. You know what I mean? So it almost seemed like, and I don't know how relevant it is or not, but a lot of the rappers who were in the game at that time were also in the gangs and in the drugs and in that whole culture. So they was rapping their lives. And now you see that people are just rapping for artistry and they're not really attached to what they're saying. They're just talking about the environments and things like that. And maybe that's one of the reasons why you know, it's harder for, and I don't know if it's harder, but maybe it's harder for our kids to connect with it because they know this isn't, they're not rapping about real life. These people aren't real gangsters. These people aren't real thugs. These people aren't really rapping about the stuff that they did. They're just making stuff up. Whereas when we were coming up, these people were in and out of jail. Like they was really shooting and stabbing folks. So it's just like they rapping about this stuff for real. Too Short, really a pimp. You know what I mean? Like these is real. There's real things going on out here. So I think it might have just been a little bit different. You know what I mean? For us to grow up and watch this culture of people really talking with their living to now they're just talking.
I gotta give a little bit of pushback to that. So I kind of disagree. I agree. We're talking about real things, but I think they're talking about real things. I just think the things that they're doing have changed. So the number of young brothers that I talk to that are in gang activity. So when you look at the hip hop landscape right now, even some of the most influential artists like Nipsey Hussle, they're gang members. Cardi B, they're gang members. So you got a lot of the young kids that I be talking to, they want to join a gang or they're calling themselves a Crip or a Blood, like almost taking us back to the early 90s. And then a lot of the young brothers, they're doing this drill music. I'm a kill. So the gun violence is increased. So I think a lot of the people in our era, like we was into Jay-Z and them, probably got people locked up and got people going to prison for a long time for.
Oh, he must be driving or something.
Yo,
Yeah.
look, I'll piggyback. I finished that. Like he's like totally like he hit that on the head. But that drill music, yo, that drill music is influencing the entire world. And we talk about like the crime rate and murder rate. Like these dudes is really like doing it for fun, like it's a game. Like they shooting each other, they posting and rapping about it, and like putting it in the lyrics, and then they retaliate. Like it's like an epidemic, man. Like that's a really good point, man. Like I don't think that's really looked at and taken serious. Like that drill music is something serious, man.
You know what though? There's mad like YouTube documentaries on that kind of stuff, man, and it looks like a real horror movie. Like you know what I'm saying? Like when they do the timeline of how this person connected to this person and all these different like you know what I'm saying? Like they just came out with that King Von thing. It's like a 3-hour documentary to talk about how he was
Yeah,
a
and they
serial
gave him 4 bodies.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like you know what I'm saying? And but even about the whole situation of how all of them are connected in all the bodies that been disappearing or whatever. So I think at this point, we're probably just so far removed from it.
That was my next point.
Yeah, like we're just far removed from it because I think we all probably moved somewhere else, and we don't know that area anymore. Like we moved out of that area for a reason, and we don't. I'm in a whole nother city now. I don't got no business going to nobody's hood in another city. You know what I mean? I'll keep that, visiting the hood stuff back where I'm from, but I ain't visiting nobody's hood in a whole nother city. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't got that. Hey, my people, my cuz, this XYZ, or I'm from where I grew up with that person. Oh, that's null and void. So I'm gonna stay in the suburbs. But
I literally made that point in a previous episode where we were talking about like my daughter and preparing her for the problems. I'm like, yo, those are problems are like beneath her, or like that's stuff that I don't want her to have to even interact with. So like it's funny, like when I go to the barbershop and stuff like that, like I see kids getting sturdy and stuff. I'm like, oh, this actually like there's kids that's really influenced by this drill stuff. Like my daughter in her school, like if it's on the playlist that I'm playing, she's like, okay, that's 4 people that died just now. I'm like, dang, okay, I'm gonna turn it off. All right, sorry. So like it's socioeconomic. Like I'm telling you, I think a lot of that has to do with it. Whereas where we were growing up, that was of the time and that was what we connected with. Versus now, we're not involved and we're not around it, so we don't understand it. And it's just truly entertainment. Like we're kind of like, if you remember, I remember because most of us are kind of from the same area, so we had white kids that was from where we was from. They would listen to what we was listening to, but it was just a phase. By the time they got to high school, like they might not even talk to you no more. Because, hey, I'm gonna leave that over there and it's time to get on to this new stuff. Like, matter of fact, when I went to school over there with y'all, I can only think of one dude that kind of consistently stayed in that mode. All the other ones, like it changed. And so for us, fortunately, unfortunately, like that became our authentic self and not just a phase.
Even the one you probably talking about has made a transition. I can guarantee it. Whoever you might be talking about,
I can't. No, you can't do that when you're gone. They gone.
Oh well, maybe not then.
Yeah, they gone.
But so as that, you kind of transition for me into the next question because of where we're at in this phase of life. You know, what's your top 5 now? It shouldn't be the same. You know what I mean? So where has it transitioned to? Anybody can pick it up. Hit. Go ahead, hit.
My top 5 now, and like at the upper 30s. I'm gonna tell you, Luther Vandross, Peggy Beverly and Maze.
Oh, Tender Lover.
Nah, man, I can't hear all that shit in my ear no more, man. Nah, top 5 now, man. It gotta be like Griselda, like Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, because they still like have music. You know what I'm saying? They have the music portion of it. Man, like, you know what? Honestly, now though, you know, I say this. I got a top 5 like best people, like skilled people. Then I got a top 5 that I like that's like, you know what I'm saying, that you want to party to. I think it's different, man. It's you got to compartmentalize it a little more. Like it depends on what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's different 5. So I can't tell you just one group of people. It's like if I want to work out, it's gonna be French Montana, Rick Ross. You know what I mean? If I'm trying to, you know what I mean? If I'm trying to just build and thinking, it's gonna be like Kendrick Lamar or like Pusha T. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what I'm trying to do.
So I'll pick up the next one. So for me, Kendrick is definitely on there. My wild card would be Deontay Hitchcock. I know people don't know who he is for real, but I listen to a lot of him, and he just be like, with who I am, he hits on a lot of cylinders, man. Jay is still there. Nas is still there. And my favorite, Kanye, and more Kanye. So that's my current top. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of like their music is like motivating, overcoming, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I really want to listen to now is things that's going to help me like keep moving forward, perseverance, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the basis of my top 5 on how that is. What's up, Mo? What you got? What's your current top 5?
So man, I had to go back. I had to go into the list because I actually had to have this conversation with my daughter, and what's dope about her, like when I got her, she had to get mine too. You know what I mean? Like she's practicing this lawyer stuff already. So what I gave her, but as I'm thinking about it, there's a write-in ballot here, man. So I got Pac, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Music Soul Child, and Drake. But I would probably like I don't really listen to those Jay. Like I just think that's a standard answer. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I listened to Jay-Z. I couldn't tell you the last time I listened to Wayne. So like I think a lot of those are just like standards for me. Like Pac, I would still say yes. Music Soul Child, yes. Drake, because I like some of the melodies and stuff that he does. And then above and beyond that, man, I really only listen to music when I'm in the car, and I'm very rarely in the car. Like, so that's interesting. But yeah, like music it's nowhere near as big in my life as it used to be. Like, it used to be a huge part of it, but it's not anymore. And going through this exercise, it made me aware of that. Like, yo, I didn't gave 3, and I probably haven't listened to any of them in probably at least a year. Definitely not this year yet.
So that's kind of conflicting for me, right? I could agree to everything you just said because the Pac and like I had to kind of remove him because I haven't listened to it in so long. You know what I'm saying? And the Jay-Z, he still come up like some of those things, but it's only in the gym, like when the lyrical exercise come on, or every day, what is it? Born a Star with the J. Cole, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a couple joints in there that are that come on in the workout list, like, you know what I mean? in the crib, like Deontay is on a lot, and I just had to sit back and like, dang, I do play a lot of this dude, and to hit me, it feels too awkward to put French Montana on a top 5 list. But if there's anybody that gets more airtime, it is probably French. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't really miss. It's not that he's lyrical or anything. It's just he know how to make a hit. Like
Yo,
it's just like
but that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between your top 5. Like it should be different top 5s because you got a lot of people that's top 5 lyricists, but they don't make great songs. You know what I mean? They're very talented. Like Nas is very talented, but he doesn't make great songs. You know what I mean? So like, if I say my French is in like, I would put French in like 2 Chainz in the same category in my top favorites. You know what I mean? Like the difference between your top 5 and your top 5
in your top
favorite
favorites.
rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would think that's what I'm saying when I put French there. It ain't for skill because he's not skillful.
It's not skillful, but you like his music, like.
But he don't miss. Like if you want to like if you want to party or something, you want to get ready to work out, you gotta put that French on, man.
Yo, here's what's comedy. Like, so of the 5 of us, like not one person mentioned Gucci Mane, right? I'll never forget. I was at a pool party. Literally, somebody tried to argue us down. That Gucci, like, how's he not? I'm like, so like, there's a regional aspect to it and how old you are. Because I mean, the fact that he wasn't in our list, like my man almost had an aneurysm.
He's probably early 30s. Like my little brother, like, you know what I'm saying, probably would have made that argument with you too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
like
remember Gucci Mane was coming to Pittsburgh.
He's like their Tupac, I guess.
Yeah, like he was in Pittsburgh like every weekend in Braddock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't even getting what was that spot called? It was the 5404 or something like that, or the 504 Club or something.
804.
804, yeah. Like he was at the 804 like every weekend for like all of like 07, 08, 09, like Gucci Mane like used to love Pittsburgh like that. So he had them dudes on lock.
I think Gucci Mane fans kind of speak to I think music in general speak to your lifestyle though. I think, you know, a lot of Gucci Mane stuff, early stuff was popping pills, and he was one of them first people really putting that stuff on and taking pills and popping Molly. And if you was partying like that, you probably enjoyed that. But like I always had Jeezy above or T.I. above Gucci Mane as far as people that is able to articulate their thought and still speak from a street aspect. But a lot of them, you know, Bite Down and all them songs, I was really talking about popping pills. Because I know people in their 40s that'll argue that Gucci should be in their top 5, but they probably take pills though, or rob people. Like I think the music was just different. If you wasn't into that, or maybe you was around it, I just never had Gucci in my top 5, man. I don't know.
I think Gucci, they put Gucci in because of his image and like his connection to the streets. But like just like they did that the verses, there's no way he can compete with Jeezy for hits. Like it was not even close. But it's just the fact that his presence, like who he was, he's more like an Atlanta legend. You know what I mean? For the type of person he was. It's definitely not the music, son. It is definitely not the music.
And look, being down here, people literally, there's people that thought he won. I was like, a moral victory? They're like, no, it was the disrespect for them. It was the disrespect that they cheered. And I was like, okay.
And I've also heard people say Future is like a hit of Jay-Z. Like, it's different in the South.
I've heard that too.
Well, I got a guy that comes to the gym.
Yeah.
The guy that comes to the gym, he told me that. He said, yo, he said Future is our Jigga. Like, that's our Jay-Z. That's what he said. Like that, that's what he said. That's a true statement.
Yo, I had one of my guys over working out, and the lyrical exercise came on, and he was like, I never heard this side of Jay-Z ever. Like, I know Future. Like, I would have never thought that Jay-Z, like, this is what they talking about? And I'm like, yeah, like, how don't you notice? Like, he was like, I never heard this song ever in my life. So, I mean, that's just wild.
The dude was younger, though, right?
I mean, he 33.
Yeah, he said 33. Like, 7 years can be, you know, especially in musical years, like, that's a whole era. So you could easily miss that.
I don't know, bro. Like that was on Blueprint. Like I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Listen, so when Blueprint came out, I was in high school, probably about to graduate around somewhere around there.
he in middle school.
If he's 7 years, he was in elementary school.
Well, I guess, yeah.
So it's easy to miss that. And it wasn't.
But we was just, I mean, you could say that, but
he's
you were sitting here
back.
talking about Tribe Called Quest in 1990.
Because I listened to it. Like I said, I got started early. So if he was doing Hickory Dickory Dock, where I should have been, then that's what he's gonna be on. I was out here doing too much too early.
That's the story of all our lives. Truth. Anybody have something else to say? I would also put like Jeezy. I don't know. What you think about Jeezy over French? I would put Jeezy definitely over French. It's a tough call for me, but I mean, it's not an absolutely. It's really not. You heard that, Coke Boys, man. You heard that, Coke Boys. Come on, man.
Yo,
Absolutely.
I came home from college and I heard that Trapper Die. I've never saw nothing with that impact since the Tupac double CD, at least in Pittsburgh. I never saw nothing that had that impact.
You can't just. I agree with you, but you can't judge it on the Pittsburgh scale, though. I mean, but
that's where I was. That's all I can look. So imagine what it did here.
I would agree with him nationally, Jeezy for sure. French has always just been to me a hustler. He won't go away. But if we're talking about like impact, like he's saying, when Trapper Die came out, there's only a few albums. I would say Get Rich or Die Trying in 2000, and then Jeezy in 03 that really where somebody dominated that whole next 2 summers and wasn't. I mean, Jeezy had it on lock when he came out with that first album. And just like 50 had it on lock for the first 2 albums.
Okay, that's where I was going. But I was about to go somewhere else with it, and I'm surprised Lee Frey mentioned this. When DMX came out, he changed the whole music industry wave because we was listening to all West Coast and all South music. We was listening to No Limit. Master P had it on lock, and then DMX came out and had a whole group follow him. He can't, you know what I mean? Like DMX came out, they came out with the whole Rough Riders. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how. Like I missed the DMX.
Yeah, that was a whole movement. But that was
a whole movement.
Before that, it was like the J movement. It was like
it was P. Like Jay was in there.
Jay was in there. But I'm saying because they were about to Jay and Ja and DMX was about to come out with that group. Remember, they had their little individual singles popping.
Murder Inc.
Yeah, they're about to come out with a group, and then DMX dropped that, and then it was, what you know now, and then it was a rap. It was a rap for like 2 whole summers. It was like 2 years.
How'd it go?
He was just blah, blah, blah. Now.
Yo, hey man, if I had a bomb for that over here, let's drop the bomb for that, son. Like, yo, I was just telling,
he just morphed into it real quick.
Yeah, like who was super young. Like, she said she ain't like DMX, right? And I told her it's one of them things where you had to be there. Like to see that the impact that this dude had on rap and how the influence he had was nothing like it. Like you never seen nothing like it. Like I told you, I was straight West Coast until like 97, 98, until like DMX came, and he took me back to East Coast rap. Like when I heard that joint Money Power Respect when he came on there, this is a beat that I can freak with. When I dropped, like, yo, I was like, yo, who is this dude? Like, who's this? Like, the energy that dude had was like, you had to be there.
Raw emotion.
Like, you can't go.
It was
you can't.
Emotion. You
can't listen to him and just be like, listen. You had to see it. You had to be there, son. Like how he changed rap from being like glittery Puff Daddy to like, yo, this raw dude with no shirt on and dog chain. Like it wasn't nothing like it, son. You had to be there.
And it all happened together because it was West Coast had it. And then Pac died, and then Puffy and them did have a quick run. Him and Mace put on a run for a second, and then after that, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and DMX.
Why are you leaving out P? Like P wasn't dropping every Friday and selling out.
You know what? I know P had an impact, but it really depends on where you was at because, like at my high school, specifically at Shinley, we hated that, bro. We hated that. We thought we was Killer Bees. And Wu-Tang.
Yeah, that's true. In
And
the city, they wasn't on there. A lot of them wasn't.
Oh, well,
but
east side, my side.
We was all about P.
We was all about P.
there was definitely a couple dudes that we used to have these debates all day long. And of course, you know, the big hits like Nah 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 and all that, everybody knew that from their high school parties, but just on everyday listening, I couldn't say. I still to this day don't know anything but their, you know, the main hits that everybody knows.
Duggery. You ain't gotta say too much.
Man, just all the albums, like that whole era was dope. That era between, you know, Cash Money and No Limit, and they was just going back and like they was just. I mean, Cash Money ain't never really stopped, but that whole era was dope. And for you, I don't know what's going on with the city, but but man, just I mean, you could go down the list of all the artists that was on it that came out with the dope hit after hit after hit. Now he'd give you 25 songs on the album. Yeah, he give you 25 songs on it, and maybe only 15 is popping, but you know, they had some hits on there.
Hey,
let me hit you with my top 5 real quick before I forget, because my top 5 is a little different. So I'm gonna start with that Cole for real, because I still listen to Cole heavy almost all the time. Cole, Nipsey Hussle for sure.
He scored.
The Elements.
So remember, we gonna come back to the Nipsey one. Go ahead.
Yep.
Just remember that.
The Nipsey Hussle, the Elements, Earth, Wind, and Fire. What is it? Frankie Beverly and Maze and Sade. Those are my top 5. I ride them every single day, hard, different times of the day.
Sheesh.
Look, so I had this conversation once. I ain't even call it an argument, disagreement, like, because I ain't have a dog in the fight. But my question was, no disrespect to the dead, but I was like, how can somebody in Nipsey Hussle be in folks' top 5 and he had one release? He had other like mixtapes. How can he be in somebody's top 5?
Those mixtapes count.
I think that's disrespect. But I think that's disrespectful to so many people.
But
right. But if you can I jump in there? If you understand the context why he did. See, the thing was when I heard him say this in an interview, he was saying that the reason why he only made one studio album was because the labels didn't start your catalog until you put one out. Like he had a conversation with 50 Cent, and 50 Cent had told him, make all of those other albums mixtapes because they won't count. So if he would have put out Bullets Had No Names 1 and 2 as albums, and they had mediocre rap sales when he went to go negotiate his contract for the marathon, it would have been like, well, you only sold 10,000, you only sold 3,000. So that's why he only had technically one studio albums, but he was definitely curating those mixtapes as if they were albums or putting them out in the street as if they were albums. And there was some really, really good music and all that.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest though.
I agree, but to put him in your top 5, I was like, that's a bit much.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest. The reason why, and this would be for me, right, is why I would put Nipsey that high is because for potential. Because his mixtapes was okay, but Victory Lap was something special. Like it's like when everything came together. Like if you listen to, he had like 1 or 2 every now and then. It was all right, but Victory Lap is like when it all came together for him, and that's what he basing it off of. But I agree, like his catalog is not that great, dog. But Victory Lap pushes him to another plateau.
His catalog,
be honest,
Victory Lap was something. Victory Lap was something special. I could go.
Victory Lap was like when it came together.
Back.
Yeah,
I mean, the blue laces, like catalog. His catalog is dope, man. Like I don't know, there was a time. I want to say back in 2013 where I couldn't get off the dude. Like every song, I couldn't get off the dude. Like, his catalog is definitely hard, man. Like,
but so I'm just like, wow, that's. I just felt that's highly dismissive and disrespectful to a lot of people that had a much bigger body of work, and I'm like, wow, this is.
I think he got a pretty big body, but I mean, at the same time, people got Biggie in a top 5. Like, he has nobody at work at all.
I think we're talking about personal top 5s as far as what you listen to. You know what I mean? What you listening to right now. So that's what I'm going off for top 5 is like those 5 is what they have a piece in my life every single day. Like when I'm on the treadmill, it's that hustle and motivate. You know what I mean? I'm grinding to that hustle and motivate. That Nipsey on there. You know what I mean? When I'm chilling, I'm just relaxing. I might have the Sade on. You know what I mean? When I'm moving the groove, and I might put the Earth, Wind, and Fire on. You know what I mean? Frankie Beverly or something. And the J. Cole when I'm just in my own head and I just want to. I'm just thinking about stuff and I want to articulate it. I put that J. Cole on.
Man, you got a soul tie with J. Cole.
I still ain't. I gotta go back and listen more. I'm like, nigga, where? Because I can't call it, man. And I listen to J. Cole regularly, man.
What's up, Max? You don't like my Biggie diss, Max?
Nah, that was me, son. Who said that big? I was me on that Biggie joint. You tripping, dog? Like
he got 3 albums.
Yo, but you see the impact of his albums, though.
Man,
we're talking about an impact. How could you put Nipsey in there from this?
I didn't mention Biggie at all. I didn't mention Biggie at all.
Who changed the face of rap with 3 albums, though? And not even that, but all the other stuff that he influenced, all the people he influenced, and all this like the impact that he had in those years from 94 to 97, dog. Biggie had it on lock on the East Coast. There was nobody coming out on the East Coast. You tripping, man.
From when? From 94 to who?
From 94.
Man, name the best albums in 96, dog. Like, because he's not even in that list.
Whoa. Life After Death is the best double album ever in history.
You're crazy. That's not better than Machiavelli, my guy.
Whoa.
I mean, All Eyes on Me. It's All Eyes on Me. It's not better than All Eyes on Me. It's not. It's not.
I disagree.
It's not. It's not better than All Eyes on Me. Come on, man.
And I don't think All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me, just one is definitely solid. Volume 2, I don't think that aged well. But when I look at Life After Death, complete 24 tracks that you can listen to, and I'll say this. So
I only listen to Sky's the Limit and that Bone and Biggie. Like, come on, man. And Tink Crack.
Not even that. I don't even listen to that anymore.
Right, like, come on, man.
Oh, man. 10 Crack Commandments, Pray on My Downfall. You Nobody Till Somebody Kill You. Them is all classic records. All right, cool.
I don't know.
I don't disagree that they were classic, but to put that up there with
All Eyes on Me.
Like,
honestly, All Eyes on Me is not even his best album. Honestly,
my point exactly.
Album, but his best album was Me Against the World. Like lyrically, the content, everything. Me Against the World.
I mean, I'm not arguing that either.
I think All Eyes on Me Volume 2 though was what I just think he put a couple of them hits with the Outlaws and all that. I think they was starting to burn out on that second double disc. Now the first one I could listen to beginning to end. But I just wanted to make one more quick point about Nipsey. I think Nipsey's impact, what made him so big was his business acumen and his mind outside of music too. So a lot of people was not used to somebody who's an affiliated gang member with this high level type of conversation and ability to take you in different areas. I mean, he's talking about crypto. He's talking about
I can respect that.
Digital stores. I mean, he was far ahead of his time, which I think projected his image even bigger than his music. Like I would listen to Nipsey interviews sometimes before I would listen to music because you was gonna catch some game. Like, dang, I wasn't even thinking about that, but you know what I mean. So I think
that's his reading list. I've taken books from his reading list over listening to his music.
Exactly. That's still his reading list is like one of the most looked at things outside of his music. There's probably more people know the books he read than the albums he created. And to me, that's when you become an icon, when you live outside of just your music or your talent. Like, I'm not going to compare him to Tupac because Tupac is way bigger, but
that's what I'm saying, though. I can't put him there musically. I can't put him in the top 5 musically. But like icon-wise, yeah, for sure. But I wouldn't put him in the top 5 musically.
I can see that. I can see the argument both ways. If you weren't really a fan, a lot of people caught on to Nipsey after he passed.
No, I was a fan, but even still,
yeah, I was a fan. I'm not discounting it.
I feel like when he got killed, he was just catching his stride, though. He was really just
about
to really go up. So he really got cheated for real. But
we all got cheated.
Yeah, facts.
Yo, I wasn't a fan until Victory Lap. Like that's the first time I ever heard him was Victory Lap. And I'll be honest, most people say I didn't follow him I heard of his name, but it was Victory Lap that got me. You know what I'm saying? And when I go back and look at everything else, like I said, it's okay. He got some things that here and there, but Victory Lap is like even his the lyrical content in Victory Lap. If you listen to what he's saying, like Block for Me Black Man, like the stuff, like his words and what he's put together. That was just a hell of an album, man. It's just like that man was at his pinnacle in thinking, like everything came together for him. And I think he just left with a great memory, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like he left on top.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
yeah, man. What? Go ahead. We missing
Oh,
anything?
no. I was just agreeing. For sure.
Cool. Well, hey, that was a great conversation, man, and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for coming out. And anybody got any last remarks?
Nothing other than we got to have a further discussion about Biggie, man, and his impact on hip hop, man.
Let's talk about it. We got a little bit of time because
But the after hours show.
Biggie is
You tripping on that one. I ain't gonna lie, you tripping on that, dog. I ain't
Look, man,
I ain't gonna lie.
If you go back to that time when One More Chance was on the radio, when B.I.G. P.O.P.P. what Bad
you
Boy
a city dude, man. Like there was so much other stuff going on at the time.
Man, they had it on Smash, Mace, Biggie.
I didn't like Mace. I didn't like nobody out of the Bad Boy camp for real.
So you're a Bad Boy hater.
Even
I just don't like Bad Boy.
I met y'all with SW. Who was there's Total 112? Like Bad Boy really had a nice squad for about
Mary J. Blige for a minute.
The Locks.
Oh, so now
Lock.
we're bringing Uptown. This is the reunion tour now.
Yeah, right. Like, come on, man. Like, nah. I wasn't. Like I said, at that time, No Limit has already was doing a thing, and I was already engulfed in, who Mystical and Silk the Sock. Well, I don't want to really say that, but
they only had 2 years of a run, dog.
Who?
So
They had 2 years
No
of
Limit.
a million
24
records.
albums.
A million records.
Are you serious, dog? Come on, man.
No, he's right. It
was 2 years.
They only had 2 years, but they put out 32 million albums.
When did I'm About It come out? Because 96, I want to say.
99?
96. You remember he was putting out West Coast Bad Boys like around the time that Tupac and them, because he was trying to capitalize on.
Yeah, I wasn't on them then.
You know what I'm saying? It was like 96, something like that.
97. It was 97.
But them dudes.
So that's what I'm saying. 97, like I'm About It. Me and X was hard. Like they had the whole industry on lock, man. They was dropping the album week by week, and nobody was playing nothing else.
Yo, well, you got listen, son. I'm being real with you, man. No Limit created the 19 songs, only 3 bump. Just be real, dog. Not all them just
Yeah, because a lot of that
they were putting out like no classics.
A lot of that music was trash. That's fact.
Talk to him. Talk to him, son. Like the 19.
That's how I feel about Biggie. That's how I feel about Biggie.
That's how I feel about Biggie too.
That's how I feel about Biggie. He had some bumps, but most of the album was like, you could have did this on one CD, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
True.
But I also say
I wish you could see my face right now, because I'm really just like,
yeah.
There came a point in time where
and then when that Confessions of Fire came out in '98. Like, come on, man. Wasn't nobody? Come on, man. Like,
listen, there was it's so wild, man. It's dope hearing y'all side of it. Because the same way y'all wasn't listening to East Coast, we definitely wasn't listening to that. But I remember at the end, Master P was just putting out anybody, Tonka Truck rapper, album dropping Thursday. It was just
no, Skull W was literally the bodyguard. The bodyguard put out an album. So you right.
At that end, I was like, man, who are these people? Now everybody know Mystical. Me and X, I thought Silk the Shocker was always trash.
He was always trash, but he just had them ad libs.
Yeah.
Master, I would say X is the hardest female rapper ever, though. I would say she's the hardest ever.
Hey, Mo Better, do it again, Mo Better. Pause that.
I would say she's the hardest female rapper ever. Make your argument. Make your argument. Who's better than me and X?
Oh my God.
Who carried a whole label? She carried the whole label on
She
for
carried a
the
whole
most.
label.
She
Oh,
carried
that's
that
not-
label.
You the first album you said I would put Nicki Minaj and the Brat over her.
You're crazy. Not over
I mean,
me
I
and
was
X.
going
Come
to
on,
go
man.
like Lil
Come on,
Kim,
man.
Yo,
'Cause
I
neither
think
one
I
of
know
those.
what it is. I think I know what it
Foxy,
is. I
like,
didn't mean
I
to
was
interrupt you, man.
Foxy.
I think I found it out. Like Vic must have had his time of his life, man, listening to No Limit music. Like he must have been living it
I'm
up.
still
Like he
having
was
the
playing
time of my life
football.
now.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? You probably got your first cheeks. You know what I mean? Like your first love. It got to be an emotional
Nah,
connection to these niggas because
you
it
know what's
can be
funny?
the music, dog.
I got my first cheeks to what is it? What was that album that Puffy put out when he died, when Biggie died?
Oh, Puff Daddy and the Family.
Puff
All about
Daddy, P Diddy and the Family. Yeah, that's when I got my first cheeks when listening to that album. That I love you, baby. That was, you know what I'm saying? I love you, baby.
Yeah, that's
you know, yeah, on repeat.
And Biggie was on that album too.
I mean, he had a couple joints on there, but you know what I'm saying. But that "Can I Live" on there was just that Black Rob. Like Black Rob had me for a minute because Black Rob's first album was dope.
The life story was hard. It was slept on. That's one of them albums that was slept on. Life story was hard.
Life Story was hard. So was Tracy Lee. That Tracy Lee Many Faces album. Y'all don't know about that. You might know about that. You from DC. Or maybe not. You don't know about that? The Many Faces album?
Nah, I ain't seen
Or
that.
am I y'all never heard the Tracy Lee Many
didn't.
Faces album? Really?
No, I didn't.
Leafer, I know you had to hear it. Like riding with me, like maybe you had to hear it.
Yeah.
But that album was super dope. But I'm surprised y'all don't know about it. But yeah, like, and you would love him because he stopped rapping and became a lawyer, and then went back to it after he was done being a lawyer. But
Yeah, Notorious Big on that album too.
he is on that album,
Right.
he is on that album. But he was just doing it for clout. He was just doing it for, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all
Yeah.
tripping, man. Like I said, I wasn't no East Coast dude. I was way more Pac than Big. But like that big impact, man. I got a story to tell. Like that dude he was different, man. You gotta get that man his credit, dog. He had a hell of a run, man. You know what I'm saying? Like rap is about
I ain't
runs.
mad at him.
It's
I ain't
about
mad
runs,
at him.
man.
I
Like,
wasn't
even-
feeling it. I wasn't feeling it.
Like people's catalog has grown to the point where like I can no longer put him in that range anymore. He just don't have enough content for me.
But you can put Nipsey in there.
I could put Nipsey on mine because
I didn't.
Nipsey has enough content for me to enjoy at this time in my life. Now, Big never had enough to be on any of my lists at any point in time in my life. Like he was never in my Rolodex. Like when Big was out, I think I was listening to 40 Water. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to 40 Water heavy. Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man. Like I wasn't listening to Big. I was listening to West Coast heavy. You know, so anybody that I listened to over there, and I think when that album came out, what was it? Ready to Die or something like that. That was what 94? Was that 94?
94, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
when
wasn't-
Illmatic came out. He was rapping with Illmatic all day, every day. Illmatic constantly, and then I think that's when Southern Playalistic Cadillac music came out, and I was bumping that. So
Okay,
I mean,
man, Big.
I was just listening to other stuff. You know,
Yeah, that I just wasn't.
Look, I gracefully bow out, but with the Biggie thing, but like I mean, I get he got an impact, but it was just I just felt that was just blasphemy the whole Nipsey thing. I was like, so I mean, I get that open the can of worms. Like, well, Biggie ain't like I wasn't gonna go that far, but because Biggie has an impact, but it was
he
just
has
the
an
Nipsey
impact,
thing
just
that I
not
was
to
like,
me.
shit.
Who you
Just
think
not
has a
to me.
bigger impact, Biggie or Nipsey though?
Biggie,
Biggie had it like Biggie, yeah, of
like
course.
don't do that.
Yo, he changed how people was rapping, man. Like I'm being real. If you look, and they even talk about it in the early, he changed how they rap, like the style. Because before they was that slow flow. Hit him when I hit him, and I know what I'm saying he changed it. He was the first one to bring gangster smoothness to rap, dog. Like you had that gritty. It was super gritty with Wu-Tang, or it was more EPMD-ish. You know what I'm saying? He's the first one to merge it together with that kind of cool street thug when he started coming out with like the Juicies. You know what I'm saying? The One More Chances. like One More Chance bumped for like 2 whole summers, dog. Like he had
Not in my
a
car, but
Yeah,
you know,
nah.
I get it though. I get it. I get the impact.
Not
He
my
just-
car.
It just he just didn't have
We
have
say
an
like there's
impact.
no play in this rad.
he didn't. He just didn't have that impact for me. Like, you know what I mean. There was a few songs that I was like, yo, that's dope. You know what I mean. And I wrote, but I could from front to back. I could probably never say. I could probably say it's safe to say I've never wrote to any Biggie album front to back ever.
No,
Ever.
the problem.
I usually skip on a take deck. I go to the
you
song.
know
I
what
like,
I
and
you
I
know what
move
I could
on.
bang front to back? Linkin Park.
I mean, I could bang that too. The first album, Hybrid Theory, for sure, I could do
True.
that. But then I mean,
All
you think about-
2001, 2002.
Yeah, you think about that. I mean that Jay-Z album, you know, what I can't even remember what it's called.
With
that
them?
first album that you
Oh,
wouldn't let
Linkin
me.
Park?
You wouldn't let me.
Fusion.
No, the first Jay-Z album. I can't
Reasonable
remember
Doubt.
What it's called? Yeah, that you wouldn't let me. I couldn't get no sleep at your house. Reasonable Doubt was goddamn playing every goddamn day, over and over and over. That and Capone and Noriega. I was like, oh my goodness, man.
I rock Noriega. Noriega
Nor-
had an album
right?
that was slept on.
Mhm.
He got
That
one of the
Melvin Flint,
greatest
the
albums
Hustler.
ever made.
That Melvin Flint was hard.
No, that
You talking about the
black.
NORE? Man, the Melvin Flint was hard.
It was not. That shit was like a disappointment from NORE to Melvin Flint. NORE is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made, dog. Like straight up.
That's your perspective, you know.
Go front to back and listen to that thing, man. He
have.
got, you know what I'm saying? He got some joints on there, man. That was different, man. Melvin the Flint was kind of like, damn, Nori.
No, I loved it. I loved all of it. That Melvin Flint, I loved every minute of it. every minute of it. That Melvin Flint was hard. He got a lot of playtime in my car. True.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we running over. We could do this all night with this music thing, man. But what we talk about next week? Oh, next week we're gonna see. We're gonna get into like what's a power family, and is it a real thing? You know what I'm saying? Having a power family, being a power couple. I know at one point, I ain't gonna say at one point. I think there is. I know Leifer says there's not. You know what I'm saying? But he might have a different perspective. I don't know how Mo feel about it. I think he don't care for it at all either. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Ron, you on your other stuff now. So, but that's that's what the next week's topic is going to be about. Just, you know,
I'm on my Biggie.
If we could build a power family, does it exist? Is there ever
that's
a
why
Ready to die on that limb.
Man, he got the worst disrespect ever. He got the worst disrespect this song ever.
No, you
Yo,
mean Pac
man, he
Biggie?
got clown so bad. Yeah, the way Pac did him, he shouldn't even. Come on, man.
Yeah. So
Jesus,
Biggie don't get no love. Sky's the limit's hard though. But that's another prototype dad. We out.